As agent Shannon Sharpe. A brand new lawsuit was just filed in Nevada claiming Sharpe was manipulative and eventually a Jane Doe, with the latest claims allegedly happening as recently as January. We got our hands on the filing and we're going to break down everything.
Them feel better about themselves when they come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. I do. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old ass and get you an old up there that can love you old. You trying to hang out with these young and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it. Dang. When they want you to go for the 4th round, you looking at her. Listen, you want some money to go to Starbucks?
And the fact that an upstanding and righteous gentleman like yourself is in that position with the only thing trying to be righteous in our lane is just more machinations of the devil. You should have a much better backstory when you pick me as an opponent.
You know what, man? I'm glad you at least, addressed it, because
when you talk to him and tell him what the truth is, he won't be able to refute it. I told you earlier, he doesn't know this. How could he know?
Yeah. Things just got even crazier. Katt Williams just backed up those wild allegations against Shannon Sharpe, and the internet is straight up losing it. Shannon's already been fighting for his life these past few days, but now with Katt jumping in, it's about to get way messier. So Shannon got slapped with a lawsuit a few days ago by a woman who claims he allegedly laid hands on her while they were dating. And honestly, it's looking real bad for him. Shannon's been trying to battle it out in court, but the streets are saying it's not looking good at all. And now Katt Williams is out here acting like he's been waiting for this moment. He's giving major "I told you so" vibes and even hinting he's ready to spill some extra spicy tea about Shannon. And you already know if Katt talks, it's about to get real ugly. Now let's talk about it. Katt Williams is straight up basking in Shannon Sharpe's legal chaos, and he's not even pretending to be subtle anymore. Word is, there's been some low-key beef simmering between Shannon and Katt for a while now, ever since that crazy interview on Club Shay Shay. And what's wild is that interview was a massive hit, broke records and everything for most watched podcast on YouTube. You'd think after all that they'd be cool, right? Nope, total opposite. Apparently, Katt's been running around telling folks that Shannon always gave off a weird vibe. And Katt says he felt something was off even when they sat down for that interview at Club Shay Shay. If that's true, then Katt really thinks there's some truth to these serious allegations, which is just insane when you think about how messy this whole situation already is. So, what exactly is going down with these allegations? And what does Katt Williams think is 100% real? Buckle up, because it's messy. The lawsuit was filed by a woman named Gabriela Zuniga, who says she was just 19 years old when she started messing around with Shannon back in 2023. Meanwhile, Shannon was 54 at the time. Right out the gate, that's a major side-eye moment. Like, seriously, what was he thinking getting involved with someone that young? For some extra context, Shannon's youngest kid would have been around 29 or 30 then, meaning Gabriela was a whole decade younger than his own child. It might have been legal, sure, but it's giving off major grooming vibes and it's definitely rubbing people the wrong way. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Gabriela made a whole lot of shocking claims in her lawsuit. First off, she actually filed everything under Jane Doe to keep her identity hidden. But the only reason we even know her real name now is because Shannon and his legal team named her directly in their official statements. Like, what even is that move? Inside the lawsuit, Gabriela accuses Shannon of major manipulation and control. She's alleging that he put hands on her and forced himself on her from behind not once, but twice. Once in October 2024 and again in January 2025. She says he completely ignored her cries and pleas to stop, just cold-hearted. The documents also mention threats and more physical violence, claiming Shannon refused to back off even when she was sobbing and screaming for him to stop. Gabriela says they first met at a gym in LA and started what she calls a consensual relationship for 2 years. But according to her, things got dark fast, with Shannon allegedly threatening to unlive her if she didn't do what he wanted. This situation is spiraling fast. When Gabriela tried to share her location with friends, she also claimed Shannon wouldn't let it slide. She says he insisted on recording their intimate moments sometimes without her even knowing, and told her it was just for his personal stash. But that's not all. She also accused Shannon of showing those private videos to his friends more than once, which is just wild. Now, Shannon wasn't about to sit back and let his name get dragged through the dirt without swinging back. He clapped back hard in a statement through his lawyer. And trust, it was messy. In the statement, they dropped transcripts of some texts Gabriella allegedly sent him. And warning, these texts were straight up graphic, like next level wild. In the texts, Gabriella said stuff like, "I want you to put a dog collar on my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me." Then she went even crazier, talking about, "I know you missed this big, juicy, a $25,000 for each cheek. Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then you can do whatever you want to me." It gets even wilder. She added, "I want to put my tongue in your a-hole and then marry you. That's my daddy. I want you to put a big black baby in me. You better crave it, because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me." Yo, it's exhausting even reading all that, but real talk, what's up with her weird obsession with the whole big black baby thing? It's just strange, especially since Gabriella is white. It's giving serious race play vibes. And honestly, that's a whole mess we are not even gonna start unpacking today. Let's just say, for a guy who acts all country, Shannon's clearly been exposed to some things. But anyway, here's where things get even messier. In his official statement, Shannon said, "This lawsuit filed by Gabriella Zuniga and cooked up by her lawyer Tony Busby is nothing but a loud and desperate attempt to shake me down for millions." Shannon's team is basically saying Gabriella is trying to hustle him for a huge payout. He said Gabriella secretly recorded a video of them during a consensual intimate moment, but claims that video has been heavily edited and twisted completely out of context to make a regular moment look like something shady. The statement went on to say the real evidence tells a whole different story, that this was a consensual adult relationship that involved role play, explicit language, and wild fantasy scenarios, all stuff Gabriella allegedly asked for herself. Shannon's team says the video Gabriella secretly recorded and then showed him during what he's calling a blackmail attempt is totally misleading because it cuts out all the texts and context showing everything was agreed on. Shannon is standing on it. He completely denies every accusation of coercion or misconduct, especially the serious claim of SA. He made it loud and clear he's not about to bow down to what he sees as a bold blackmail move. He says he's ready to fight back hard in court and prove the truth with real facts and real law. Shannon's team is betting everything on him getting fully cleared when the dust settles, but that's not even all. Shannon also dropped a video where he accused Tony Busby, yup, the same lawyer who tried to hit Jay-Z with an SA lawsuit, of trying to blackmail him too. Shannon claimed Busby has some audio recordings that were chopped up and edited to make him look bad, and said those tapes were being dangled over his head to make him pay up. Oh, and he said Gabriella and Busby are out here demanding a wild $50 million from him in their lawsuit.
Family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about, and I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
$50 million. This whole situation is spinning out of control fast. Well, at this point, Tony Busby finally came out swinging and clapped back hard. He claimed Shannon had actually offered Gabriella a whopping $10 million during mediation to keep her from ever filing the lawsuit in the first place. Busby put it like this. Back in early February, our office reached out to Mr. Sharpe on behalf of Jane Doe and brought up the idea of a meeting. He said they had multiple conversations, and eventually a full mediation went down. Shannon showed up to that with different lawyers, and the whole process dragged out for more than 6 weeks. At the end of it, Shannon allegedly dropped a major offer to settle the situation quietly. But Gabriella wasn't having it. She straight up refused the big bag Shannon was offering and decided to go ahead and file the lawsuit anyway. Yo, it's getting real messy out here. Busby also clapped back at those wild texts, Shannon's team leaked, saying they're playing games. He pointed out that every single one of those texts were sent before the alleged SA incidents even happened. He wrote, "Every text that Mr. Sharpe's counsel released today, supposedly from Jane Doe, is dated before the brutal events laid out in her case." Busby basically said Shannon's team dropped those old messages just to distract everybody from the real allegations. But according to him, it's not going to work. But Busby wasn't done throwing punches yet. He also dropped some audio recordings, and they were bad news for Shannon. In one recording, Shannon could allegedly be heard straight up threatening to choke Gabriella.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you.
I don't.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in it.
And in another one, he made a super disturbing comment about a big black guy choking a small white woman.
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did with the shit you did to me.
Okay, well.
This whole situation just keeps getting darker and darker. Man, this is looking worse by the minute. After dropping that messy audio, Tony Busby had more to say. He wrote, "The contents of this clip are definitely not playful, they're disturbing and dangerous." He said the audio clearly showed the way Shannon treated Jane Doe, and it got so bad she had to literally flee Nevada just to get away from him and block all contact. Busby wasn't letting up. He doubled down on his claims about the hush money, saying, on one hand, Mr. Sharpe and his lawyers called Jane Doe's lawsuit meritless. But on the other hand, they admit Mr. Sharpe offered her $10 million in writing to not file her case. Busby said it straight up. Jane Doe was offered that $10 million deal, but she refused it and chose to go forward with the lawsuit anyway. He also called out Shannon's team for trying to spin the story, accusing them of trying to discredit Gabriella and dox her by leaking her name publicly. Busby said Shannon's team is also coming for him personally now, but he made it clear they are not backing down no matter what. Of course, Shannon's lawyer wasn't about to let Busby run wild without clapping back. He came out swinging, accusing Gabriella of straight up being greedy. And here's where it gets even juicier. Shannon is rumored to be about to sign a massive media deal worth over $100 million any day now. According to his lawyer, that's the real reason Gabriella suddenly popped up with this lawsuit. Word is, Shannon's contract with Colin Cowherd's The Volume Podcast Network just ended. And now he's about to lock down a $100 million plus deal for his Club Shay Shay podcast. Shannon's lawyer said Gabriella knew about that fat paycheck coming in and tried to take advantage of it. In his words, this is the classic definition of blackmail, hitting someone right when they have the most to lose. It didn't stop there. Shannon's lawyer went even further and straight up exposed Gabriella as an OnlyFans creator. He said, what she does on OnlyFans is for money, role-playing and virtual fantasies with men who pay her. He made it clear that Gabriella wasn't just any regular person, she was already in the business of acting out fantasies for cash. He added, it's a fact that the plaintiff even started charging Mr. Sharpe money too. This is who she is, and that's just the facts. But Tony Busby wasn't about to stay quiet after that bomb got dropped. He clapped right back and said, Mr. Sharpe's aggressive approach is going to backfire. Ms. Doe isn't scared of the truth. She's depending on it. Busby made it loud and clear. He's ready to show all the receipts in court where he says the real truth will matter more than any desperate PR spin by a sports icon. Y'all, this is a total, complete, flaming mess. Fans are seriously split down the middle right now. On one side, people think Gabriella's story deserves to be heard, but on the other side, folks are seriously side-eyeing Tony Buzbee himself. See, Busby's track record isn't exactly squeaky clean when it comes to SA lawsuits. He's the same lawyer who filed that huge case against Jay-Z last year, accusing him of allegedly assaulting a 13-year-old girl after the VMAs in 2000. But guess what? That lawsuit ended up getting dropped and dismissed. Even worse, another Jane Doe later claimed that Buzbee straight up lied to her about things, and Jay-Z clapped back with a countersuit for defamation and extortion. It was a huge, nasty mess. And now, with Buzbee bringing another major lawsuit against another successful black man, a lot of people are giving him the side eye. Some are even wondering if running these lawsuits is starting to look like a side hustle for him. Man, just when you thought it couldn't get messier, here we go again. On the flip side, there are a lot of folks saying Shannon's known for being real freaky behind closed doors, like extra freaky. Now don't get it twisted, being freaky and being guilty of SA are two completely different things, but some fans are side-eyeing the whole situation, wondering if maybe, just maybe, there was some kind of blurred line somewhere along the way, while fans are completely torn on this. You want to know who's allegedly loving every second of Shannon's downfall? Yup, Katt Williams. It might sound crazy at first, but if you've been paying attention, there have been whispers for a minute now that Katt and Shannon have been beefing behind the scenes. And guess what? It all traces back to that infamous Club Shay Shay interview. The second that podcast went viral, everything blew up. Katt found himself drowning in drama with a whole bunch of black entertainers, especially other comedians. And honestly, you could see the tension building up during that interview. Katt came on there like he had a whole decade of beef sitting on his chest, and he unloaded it all without a second thought. When Katt pulled up on Club Shay Shay, he didn't sugarcoat nothing. He aired everybody out, full confessional mode. No filters, no holding back. It was straight drama, no chaser. The internet was eating it up, laughing and reposting every crazy clip. But behind the scenes, the celebrities he dragged were fuming. Let's be real, nobody wants their dirty secrets blasted out for the world to hear, but Katt was locked and loaded, like he'd been saving up all that tea for the perfect moment, and Shannon handed him the mic on a silver platter. After that interview dropped, things got ugly and the backlash hit hard, especially for Katt. One of the first big names to call them out, Dave Chappelle. He came for both Shannon and Katt, saying, "What part of the game is this? He ate the niches." Dave pointed out that Katt didn't dare say anything about any of the white comedians, and that comment stirred up even more heat. Dave Chappelle wasn't holding anything back either. He said, "None of those white boys move like that. Katt's one of the best artists in the game, so why is he out here painting ugly pictures of us?" Dave kept it real. He said hurt people, but he's a hurt person who never went around hurting others, and he called Katt out for doing it all the time. Dave even accused Katt of trying to destroy the lives of his fellow black men, saying, "If I told my story, it would break your heart. I lost everything and never snitched on nobody." And now Katt's out here acting like he's the judge of what's true. Dave wasn't playing. He made it clear he had love for Katt, but was seriously questioning why he was dragging other black men just for clout. He said, "Tell me what part of the game is messing up another ninja's paper? Since when is it cool to tell on another ninja?" At first, all the smoke was aimed right at Katt. Fans were dragging him hard, calling him bitter, accusing him of lying, and saying he was the real problem. People were calling him a hater left and right for the way he came off in that interview. But then, Monique sat down with Shannon Sharpe for her own episode of Club Shay Shay, and everything started shifting. People started giving Shannon the side eye too, realizing he was the common thread between both messy interviews. In true Club Shay Shay fashion though, Shannon played it slick. He deflected all that heat and basically threw Katt right under the bus. Shannon made it seem like he was just chilling, going with the flow, while Katt was the one who came in hot, stirring the pot and spilling all the tea. According to Shannon, he was just vibing off Katt's energy and didn't plan for the drama to blow up the way it did. Apparently, Shannon had already been feeling some type of way about all the heat he was catching. In his mind, he was just doing his job, asking questions, letting the guests speak, and keeping the convo rolling. He felt like he didn't push Katt to spill anything messy or force him to air anybody out. So, from where Shannon's standing, he shouldn't have been the one taking all the blame and catching all that hate. And honestly, a lot of people low-key agree with him on that point. But according to somebody real close to the situation, Shannon's been venting heavy behind the scenes. Word is, he's been super frustrated that Katt's bombshell interview flipped the whole vibe of Club Shay Shay upside down. What used to be seen as a serious platform for real, grown-up conversations was now being looked at like a whole circus show. Shannon's been worried that all this mess might scare off big-name guests in the future, and he's putting that blame right at Katt's feet. He feels like Katt hijacked the whole thing and turned his show into drama central. But it gets even messier. Shannon allegedly started hinting that Katt might not have even been telling the full truth during that wild interview. Still, even with those slick comments, Shannon was quick to backpedal and try to distance himself from all of it. He kept pushing the idea that everything Katt said was all Katt's doing, not his. Katt had made it real clear that he assured Shannon everything he planned to say in that interview was true. Shannon, on the other hand, kept insisting he never pushed Katt to say a single word, that everything that came out during that wild interview was 100% Katt's idea. But let's be real, Katt wasn't feeling being thrown under the bus like that, and it definitely created some tension between him and Shannon behind the scenes. Things just weren't the same after that. Even with all that chaos, Shannon's podcast did manage to survive the fallout, and for a while, Club Shay Shay kept riding that high. The show's been doing well, pulling in numbers, even though no other interview has come close to matching the pure messiness that Katt Williams brought to the table. But if there's one thing we all know about Mr. Katt Williams, it's that he's got a memory like an elephant. He never forgets, and he never lets things slide. Now that Shannon Sharpe is caught up in these heavy essay allegations, let's just say Katt ain't out here shedding any tears for him. Katt's petty level is legendary, y'all. And honestly, it feels like Katt's out here looking at Shannon like, you gotta tell him no, you gotta tell him no. But hey, that's just how Katt moves. Now I gotta hear what y'all think about this mess. Drop 3,000 comments down below. Tell me your take on this whole wild situation. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss when we break down even more tea. See you on the next one.